Welcome back to another CannaPost Daily podcast, where we are your wow, we're gonna leave that in there. Boy, just had a high moment. We are your cannabis podcast, where we talk all about the cannabis lifestyle, health, business, and any other thing cannabis that you could think of. Period. Today, I have a special guest by the name of ZBoyWonder. Also by the name of Tanner Nelson, for those who actually know him in real life.
Mom, what's up?
What's up, Mom? And I'm your host, My High Floatin', or Jacob. And let's just jump into this, man. We have a very interesting interview, in my opinion, just because not only does this gentleman here have a lot of cannabis experience, a lot of industry experience, not just, the black market side of things and growing at your house, but a lot of actual commercial experience. But he's also a Twitch gamer who I think a lot of people would love to be paid to play video games.
That's the dream job, right?
Right.
When you're a
Go
kid,
from weed to playing video games. I mean,
no
you
brainer.
didn't lose in that situation, if you ask me. I feel like you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Definitely, I'm pretty happy with what I get to do. Love the industry. I loved being in it. Like we were saying, I've been in it for about 7 years before I got into doing Twitch. And where I started my job in the industry was a grower for Cam. One of the leaf dispensaries back when medical was first coming out here in Colorado. We won a cannabis cup for my lemon skunk. From there, I started to really love hash. Like hash was just like the craze, right? Like everybody was dabbing, right?
I was still on flower. I'm not gonna lie.
Hot dabs, right? Like people are like, get this nail,
1200 degree dabs,
and then dab it, bro. You got no time. Don't you stop. And,
1200 degree dabs.
So got really into that though, and moved into wanting to be an extractor. People that make hash, people call all sorts of different names, but at the end of the day, I think extractor is probably the business norm now at this point, or head extractor is what I was for LiveWell, and took over their lab for about 4 months, I want to say it was, and then I kind of just realized I didn't really like working in an environment that was so corporate.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't my idea. Wasn't about making the most money out of my hash. My idea was I want to make the best hash in the world.
No, for
Hence
sure.
why I wanted to grow the best weed, and get that cup. So
you definitely weren't doing that at LiveWell.
No
shots taken.
No,
That's just the
we're not
reality.
shooting at anybody.
That's
It's
just the reality of the situation.
You got to do what's best for your company. They have a great business model when you look at it from a business side of things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they have amazing foot traffic. There's a reason why they have almost the most stores in the state, if not the most stores in the state at this point.
Right there,
yeah,
top 3
it's
for
like
sure.
them, like Clinic,
Native
right,
Roots.
and the Native Roots. Like
Yeah.
those 3 probably, and
Green
the
Solution
Clinic probably
maybe.
fell off, and Green Solution probably took over there. I didn't even think about Green Solution. I'm like, what's the green one?
Yeah.
Green Dragon actually is popping
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
they
of
have a
stores up
bunch
too.
too.
Those guys, yeah,
You're
they have
not
that
lying.
big old grow over there
Yep.
off of, what is that, like, I want to say it's Alameda and I-25.
Oh, yeah.
That spot is. You can smell weed from miles away.
Yep.
Miles away. Just
and
in
off
goals.
I-70, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
yeah.
the other ones are.
Yeah, you drive down I-70, it's the Green Mile for a reason.
Yep.
So, can't hate on that.
Obviously, you've left the industry now, like you were just saying, and you chose to go into gaming. What would be your fondest memory of the industry?
Yeah, so for me, actually, I got a little off topic there. Where I went to after working on the back of house side of things, that's what growing, extracting, everything was. I worked in the front of house where I did the retail.
Yep. That's where me and you actually met.
Right, where we were both head bud tenders, where you became a manager.
Yep.
I had to take a step away for some family issues and things like that, get that stuff taken
For
care
sure.
of. But my fondest memory is Kind Love, man. Working at Kind Love with my homies. I mean, we built a family there. That was the foundation of that team. That was why I helped develop the store into what it became, and why I put in 6 days a week at one point in time in my life. And yeah, it was rewarding for a really long time. Loved it. Developed who I am today. Wouldn't be where I'm at, I don't think, without that whole environment and the people that I've met from it, and still consider some of those people my best friends.
Yeah, no, I could definitely agree. I still talk to a good handful of the people that I worked with at Kind Love.
Yeah.
And was very fortunate to not only work alongside, or next to, but was able to then, help further that team from
100%.
a management position.
And it was really cool to
help
see,
do that.
like,
It was really cool.
all the people that we had come in, that we had a lot of people come in that had no cannabis knowledge at all, but they were some dope ass people.
They were that.
And getting to teach them about cannabis, I think that's my fondest memory. Is just like having so many customers come in too that just like stab you, saying
I got some stab you.
Yeah, what's your dankest indica? It's indica, my friend. Don't worry about it. And again, we don't take shots at people, guys. Just we're trying to educate. So if you're gonna say it like that, expect to be laughed at, maybe.
Yeah,
because,
just a little bit.
I mean, when I can't read, I know my chat laughs at me, and I can't read for shit. Like, that is the truth at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's funny. So, kind of moving on from that to kind of segue into this whole situation's next question. What made you decide that it was time to leave and take a different approach to impact the industry?
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest things I realized that was going on in the industry is we're having this big switch. I mean, we're looking at federal legalization. That's the thing that we're all pushing for. That's what we want. But what comes with that is the fact that, like, big business such as InBev, Marlboro, people like that are going to start getting involved.
Coors,
and
even,
I like working for myself. That was the bottom line. Like, no bluffs, nothing like that. I wanted to go work for me. And if I'm working for me, then I'm happy. And I wasn't able to really feel super successful in my happiness. And that's kind of how I look at my life. I don't look at how much money I have in my hand. I look at how happy I am, because money's printed. It's going to be there. As long as you're pursuing it. Not chasing money, but pursuing money.
Pursuing it.
Yes.
For sure.
And that's where I was at. Hey, I can take this and I can do something for me, and I can educate people like I like to educate people already. So what do I love doing more than selling weed? Well, playing video games.
Facts.
And that's what turned me into wanting to play Twitch.
Word.
Or I guess stream on Twitch. Play games on Twitch would be the right way to say that.
For sure. And something else that people don't know about you, what ultimately inspired you to create another business that you're responsible for? Well, you and a few other people, but I'm pretty sure you're like the primary kind of owner of it.
Yeah, I was the guy that came up with the idea. It's the Prizm District,
Prizm District,
where this is going, I'm assuming.
So it is, exactly.
With that, I started a glass gallery where we did all of our sales online through Instagram, Twitter, things like that, where we were able to outreach to our customers on a level where maybe they weren't able to outreach to us. So we were putting art out. So not just like your everyday glass pipe or bong or anything like that. Not saying that's not the best way to smoke.
Sometimes you just need a $5 piece, you know what I'm saying? Or
at the end of the day, we were taking it to the next level. So like the cheapest piece I think we have sold is $500, and that's for a recycler. So essentially what happens in that is the water goes up in uptake, comes back down, and it kind of looks like how a washing machine or your drain or your bathtub would work, with some of the higher tech of things such as like a Klein. For those that don't know about that, that's a 1800s water bottle that was invented by Marvin Klein. And what he did basically is he made a water bottle that would filter itself in this water bottle, essentially. So not giving you filtered water, but it keeps a filtered like run of water in it, basically causing a bubble circulation to make it so that your water doesn't get like stagnant. Yeah.
Like stale water, basically. That might be a whole nother situation. That might be a whole nother, whole nother episode right there. Just kind of getting him on with, because you know a bunch of glass blowers as well. That might be another situation. Let us know in the comments below if you guys want to know a little bit more about some glass and the different pieces.
People behind it.
Yeah, for sure. And
there's some true
we can even go get some tours, because I know you have a bunch of glass that you actually personally own.
And we know some of the bigger galleries too that are like in the nation. We have one of the biggest here in Illusions. So, outside of that, we have one of the nicest glass studios that's made in Everdream up in the Evergreen, guys. And those guys are basically the new age Picassos. So kind of insane.
100%. So what do you hope to accomplish with Prizm District exactly?
Yeah.
So what is the
so my end game goal originally was to get like a brick and mortar, have my own storefront, and then kind of seeing the amount that we're popping up in Denver that had probably a little bit more funding than I had in my business approach. I just didn't really have the ability to compete with that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of at the point now where I'm just holding on to online sales and connecting with the small collector base that I've created there, and anyone that's new that wants to come in and get involved and try to get their own collection started. But we're definitely more of like an entry-level store compared to some of the higher level things where you're spending 10 grand to start your collection. We don't even have a 10 grand piece anymore. So, we're not out to take all your money. We're out to facilitate you to art and make sure that you have a collection of art if you're interested in taking glass to another level.
Okay. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get people interested first, you know what I'm saying, before they can understand it.
You don't go out and instantly buy the nicest car you've ever bought for your first car. Some people do.
Some people do. But I will say, I was one of those people who I didn't understand glass. Like I said, this is definitely going to be an episode probably. I didn't understand it. I'm still one of those people who I'm hard pressed to understand it, because it's just so much money for a piece of glass. But when you start to talk to people such as ZBoyWonder here, you start to kind of understand there is a lot more that goes to it. There's
The
a lot
question
more
that I would ask
thought
you
process behind it
when it
as,
comes to
you know,
that,
art.
how do you feel about fine art then? Like people that like when you go to an art museum and you see like
No,
fine
well,
art,
that's where I had to start.
and when you start to take it to that approach, because like
that's where it, like,
there are people
clicked,
that
and I
are
was like,
in
okay,
the Smithsonian and stuff like
I
that.
get
for a
it.
piece.
You know, so
Yeah.
but it wasn't until I had someone make me take that approach for me to actually understand it from that like perspective. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
Like,
actually remember our first conversation. We were just like, who would pay for this?
Yeah,
And then, like I
you
came
know?
in with like, I think my snake pendant for the first time, and you're like, I get it. I
Yeah,
get
it was super
like,
dope. Yeah,
it applies to something
I think
outside
for
of like.
me, like if I was to ever make a personal like purchase for like in the glass world
Yeah.
and like start a collection, it honestly probably would be pendants.
Yeah.
Because pendant, like that's something that you can wear,
Right.
Like
And show off.
right, and I already like I wear jewelry, so
Right.
I actually I understand the idea
I'm
of
actually not
taking
wearing
care
one
of
today for
it.
the first time in a
You
long
know,
time.
I know I was gonna ask you that too. But like that would probably be something that for me I could actually like justify making the purchase for would be a pendant.
Right.
Like a rig though, I still don't, cause like give me a $3 blunt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so like and
I'm good
that's
to
where
go.
like people when you're spending $80, $100 on a gram of the product that you're smoking, that's where you're like, I can see my reason for buying this $3,000 piece that I'm gonna use, not all the time. That's the catch-all. You're not using it all the time. But it's also
Man.
like buying a nice car. You're gonna take care of it. It's something that you're gonna show off.
I'm
to your
just saying,
friends.
if I bought a Lamborghini,
Yeah.
bro, I'm driving it every day.
Are you showing it to your friends at the same time?
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
but
word,
I'm it's gonna
word.
be a daily
So
driver.
when
'cause
you
if I
buy
could
when you
afford
buy like a
Lamborghini,
Joe
I'm
Peters
showing off
piece,
every
that's
day.
what some people do. They're like, look at my $60,000 Joe P piece,
Man.
and this is what I smoke out of every day. I'm like, I would set it on a shelf and stare at it. That's what I would do. But that is my opinion, and that's why I got into owning a gallery and not owning all the pieces I possibly could and just being a collector.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
But I do understand where you're coming from. Like, removing myself from the industry, I definitely sometimes step down to my glass and I'm just like, this is more expensive than my car. This is more expensive than my computer. And these are the things that help me do my life every day.
See what I'm
That's
saying?
insane.
I just like
Now-
you
and
just
see
say
now-
that. I'm like,
and then when I sit down and think about it, I'm like, huh, that could go one way or that could go the other way. And I'm a half full guy, so I'm like, well, that is money that will buy me a new car. That will buy me a new computer. So that's also how I look at it,
That's one way to look at it. It can be an investment if you invest in the right pieces. Glass industry is like, any other industry that goes up and down and has,
It's volatile.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And there's a lot of glass, or people who will buy glass from an artist that will never be anything.
Correct. Or
And-
the artist can go absolutely insane.
Right.
And all of his value can diminish.
For sure.
Like I once had a $15,000 piece. You've seen it, the Hellraiser Arcanine piece.
Oh, yeah.
That is not worth $15,000 anymore.
Well, that sucks. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Let's move on, because I feel like there's a little bit of depression moving
Nah, we're good,
amongst
we're
us.
good.
There's a little cloud of like...
It's raining.
Right,
It's raining.
just a little bit.
It's kind of like raining negative money.
Negative money,
Oof.
man. Oof. Raining bricks. So what is the current situation of Prizm District, and what are the future plans of Prizm District?
So right now, we're in a liquidation phase. We're actually...
So if you need a piece, this is the time to get one.
so we're actually selling things pretty close to like cost on what we got them for. Just trying to get our money back out, so I can get my investors that did take the leap of faith on me, I guess I would say, something like that, to invest into a company that just in the end, I had too much going on in my life at the time when I started it, with my dad getting sick and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to really progress it to the point where I wanted to because I was just so focused on trying to take care of not only myself but my family at the time, and it just didn't really take off like I wanted it to. The partners that I was with, one ended up having to get back into the industry, and he's doing really well there, and I'm really proud of him, and he's doing everything he wants to be doing, and started a family. So really hard to be starting a business when you're starting a family.
I won't say it's hard to start a family and start a business at the same time. There just has to be a lot of communication between both parties.
Right.
And what I mean by both parties, it's literally the mom and dad. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Husband and wife. There has to be a lot of communication, because to start a business takes a lot of attention and time and effort, along with starting a family takes all that same time, effort, and, energy. So it's just a lot of communication. It's not impossible, but it is very hard.
Most
So-
things aren't impossible. Just when things are hard, they feel like it.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, any investors out there who may still want to get involved, go check it out.
Yeah, let
Prizm
me know.
District.
We're on Instagram.
Yeah,
DM's
check it
always
out.
open. You
know,
can
if
buy
you're
some
looking
glass
for a
there
piece,
too.
If you're looking for a piece, definitely hit them up and get you something dope. Because I've been knowing Z-Boys since pretty much you started it. Like when I came into Kind Love, and you were just kind of getting started with the whole company and everything. And I don't think I've ever seen a piece on it that I was like not impressed by. So if you're looking for something that's like a conversation piece, something that maybe, like he said, it can be a daily driver, but also kind of like
A showpiece.
Exactly, a showpiece. Like he's definitely got those, but he's also got stuff that can be a little bit more high end, where maybe you wouldn't want to use it every day, and it would just be a little center mount piece situation.
Yeah.
You know,
Put it on the shelf. Put it on the center table.
So-
Whatever you want to do. You put a flower in it.
And I
make
think
it
you
look
still
like
have
a
the
vase.
pendants too. You still
Yeah,
have some
got a
pendants? They still
ton
have
of
some
pendants. Got a ton of pendants.
So, and that's the one
pendant
thing
game's where it's at.
I can justify pendants, because I think if anything is gonna like hold the value the longest would probably be a pendant.
Right.
Because it's something that you can wear. It like more people can justify the pendant, I think, than the
You don't have to be a smoker.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be anybody.
That's what I'm saying. I think more people can justify.
You could just be a dope rapper.
That
You could be
over that.
Yeah, you could be anybody.
Yeah.
Any walk of life can have an awesome piece of jewelry around their neck, and that's what it is at the end of the day. It's just the most fragile piece of jewelry you've ever worn.
Ever.
You tap it the wrong way, done.
Done.
You lap check it, as we like to say in the stoner world of throwing our pipes off our lap, done. No
Yeah.
more.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't exist. I did that once sitting in like my car taking pictures actually one day for Instagram before I had to come in from break. I was like sitting there, I'm like taking this picture, and I literally tell myself, I'm like, you're gonna lap check this. Look down, stand up, poof, see it flying through the air. I'm like, there goes $500.
Oh man, I would be so upset.
Yeah, artist took care of it though. He fixed it. It was like pretty clean break, so.
Word. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's nice.
And I could keep it then, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess, 500 out, but at least I got something.
So let's get into, I feel like, the most interesting part of this whole situation, because I think this is going to be what most people are going to be here for. I just like to touch on where he came from, current endeavors, but the most, I think, important situation that he's involved with right now is, like he's kind of been mentioning, is the Twitch situation.
Grape soda.
And the reason for that is because he's got all sorts of sponsorships, not only by cannabis companies, but other companies that he can elaborate on here in a minute. But the question to you, my friend, when did the opportunity to play video games for a living happen, and what does the future look like for you in Twitch?
Yeah, so actually, my start in video games came way before I was ever a Twitch streamer.
For sure.
I played
We've had
Halo
this
2
conversation.
and Halo 3 professionally as a young kid.
It's so
And,
crazy to me when you say it.
gotta
Professionally, when I
Gotta
was
travel,
10?
gotta travel around the country, and the same goes for Magic the Gathering, which is the card game that I play professionally. Or semi-professionally, I guess. Right now, I'm not on their pro league, so they now have that. So it's hard to call yourself a pro if you're not in it. I guess now is kind of where that breaks down. But anywho, I started playing Halo when I was really good. I got mono when I was in 7th grade, and I had 6 months all of a sudden of homeschool. So when I couldn't see my friends, we all had Xbox Live. We'd get on, we'd jam Halo 2, and try to be the best that we could be. I one night got into these clan lobbies, is what they were back then. They were called clans.
Mhm.
And I got to play with some guys from a team called Straight Rippin', who then became the world champions in 2009. And it was really cool to be a part of that. I was one of the bench players, so I didn't get to be on the main team, but we all won. That's how I look at it. I
Right.
practiced.
He's like, I won,
I put in
goddamn.
endless hours.
I won.
If somebody was sick, I would have been there.
Right.
So, that's kind of where it started for me to realize that like gaming could make money for you. I missed a lot of school from that, but I still got my diploma, which is the most important thing I think that you can get is your education. Like don't drop out of school for games. Like that is not anything I've ever thought once in my life that I was going to do. I always thought school is important to finish. Like you don't have to go to college if you don't want to. That's like not something that I had to go and do.
I didn't go to college either.
And
if you can do it,
yeah,
though. You
absolutely.
Can,
and
by all means.
Like for me, I ended up going back because Magic gave me a bunch of scholarship money. So I went back and I did my audio engineering degree, but I did it at a trade school. So I went to pursue a trade instead of just looking at how can I educate myself more or further on something that I'm interested in.
Right.
And that was, I've never applied it yet. So that's what I'll say about college.
Fair enough.
For me, gaming also, I found Twitch when I graduated high school in 2011. I found it is actually called Justin TV back then. Before it was Twitch. Amazon hadn't owned it yet. And I was watching all these guys playing games. I'm like, man, I'm like these guys. I'm as good, if not better, at certain games, and I can totally do this. So started my own channel, and it started out with just like a couple of my friends showing up and hanging out with me basically. And I was like, this is cool. This is something. Fast forward like 6 months down the road, and I have viewers, I have fans, I have people following me on accounts, things like that, and I'm like, never expected.
Right. Very good feeling.
Yeah, and then we had legalization happen, and that's when I joined the industry.
Yeah.
So I took a step back, and as I've been through the industry, as we talked about, I got into that point where I was like, maybe I want to do something else. And I came back to Twitch, having a little bit of extra time with dealing with my family and everything like that. It really pulled up Twitch for me. I had some time at home while I was taking care of my dad. This is what I'm going to do. Jumped into it full force. Started playing PUBG because that was the new game that had just came out that year. It was about 2 years ago now. First battle royale of its kind, and it turned me on my head. I was like, this is a first-person shooter where I don't need a team. What? Like, that hadn't existed yet.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I got into that, and I got reached out by a charity foundation called Extra Life, who helps bring in money for children's hospitals across the whole network, basically. So I did a charity stream that was a 24-hour stream, and we were basically able to raise about $5,000 for the Colorado Children's Hospital. And that's like a place that's really dear to me because I had my tonsils taken out there. They had me on oxygen for like 4.5 months at one point when I was a young kid when I had pneumonia. So they took care of me. So I wanted to try to give back. I mean, giving back just through any charity is really, really nice, but one that's really dear to the heart, it means a lot to you, and you really put a lot into it. And that's when I really realized that I could make money as an adult in it, though, because I was now an adult, and I'm like, man, my responsibilities, if I could make this kind of money for a charity, what could I make for myself?
For sure.
And
man, that feels good.
Yeah.
Because I for all the people who follow me on all my social medias, like, y'all know, I've said it so many times, like, it's one of the most humbling situations to find yourself making money off of any sort of social media for any reason. You know what I mean? Because in order for you to do that, you have to have people who actually really like you and mess with you and support you in what you're doing, because it's not easy to make money off of any of these platforms at all.
They're all saturated.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You're not the only person trying to do it, right? So that's definitely one of the things that hit you in the head sometimes when you're looking at your numbers and you're feeling stressed out about, am I going to make it? That's a question that you ask yourself all the time as a content creator. Because there are days when you don't know if you're going to have content that you created that day, but there's no 0 day. That's the catch. Like, when you have a 0 day, somebody else beats you.
Yep.
Simple. That is the one rule that comes to content creation. And outside that, there's not many other rules.
Yeah.
You know,
I
just
agree.
try not to be an idiot. Or do. Some people like that. So, you know.
So I feel like that was a perfect segue into the next question. How was it for you to finally feel that, you know what I'm saying, reward of all the hard work?
Yeah,
you know what
I mean, dude,
it
felt insane.
Paid.
It felt so great. I couldn't be happier. I remember getting my first Twitch check, like getting the email that was like, yo, you can start making money from this. And like, I think I was at work maybe with you that night even too. And I was like, I'm sending screenshots to my mom, like, look what I'm doing, like, loving life, man. Cloud 9 doesn't even describe how I felt.
That's dope. Hell yeah, I like it. So I've personally jumped onto your Twitch, watched you, you know, chop it up with your fans, your family, whatever you call them. What is the situation with Silverstein? Because I've noticed that some of the streams that you'll do, you'll make a point to like acknowledge them and say that they're sponsoring the stream.
With,
so for people who don't understand what that is,
Silverstein, we do a collaboration.
Oh, and they're a dispensary too.
They're one that's here in Colorado. They also have one in Oregon, I believe, as well.
Okay.
But so they reached out to me actually, and they were like, "Hey, we see that you're a Colorado streamer who's also been in the industry before," because I have it written out in my bio. Like, you come to my page, we have these things called panels on Twitch. In your panels, you can have your sponsorships, things that like are incentives about like getting subscriber perks, stuff like that. Just information about you and your streams and your channel. Since, like, for those of you that don't really know what Twitch is or what I'm doing, that are more of a YouTube like familiarity. We do things that aren't cut and edit, so everything's in the raw. So like, I'm live broadcasting to you. So essentially what I do is I have my own TV channel and I make my own content for it. So some days it's this game, some days it's that game, some days we're just hanging out and we're walking around the world. It really just depends on what I want to do. And that's what makes it so freeing, because I can work anywhere. And that's another reason why I do what I do, is that I can pick up shop and I can go anywhere in the world I want and I can still do my job.
Yep, I agree with that. So can I. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So what is that Silverstein sponsorship look like for you?
So for me,
actually, before you started to cut you off, what does it look like for you and for them? What is the give and take? You know, it's a yin and yang situation, so obviously they're getting something out of it too.
They obviously helped me out by hooking me up with some products and stuff like that. We're moving into a realm now where we're going to start doing some giveaways so that we can give back to the community a lot more too, outside of just giving them a discount, which who doesn't love discount on their weed? I mean,
everybody loves discounts on
their
weed. Just saying.
Everybody loves discount. So we have that where we do give to the community in a way of giving them discounts to what I call my community is the ZBoy Nation. So the ZBoy Nation gets hooked up with a bunch of discounts for all their flower products. They place those online for in-store pickup, and that goes really, really smooth. They get to use my name, so it's cool to like have people sending me like an Instagram story of my name on their receipt. Like, I know that's a cool feeling. I never expected that to be going on.
That's dope.
Ever.
That's cool.
Ever.
That's real
so
cool.
that's a pretty neat thing. And then they also promote me. So, you know, getting exposure is one of the most important things we can have as content creators. That's why we do what we do with each other, and do collaborations with any company or any individual. And that's basically the biggest thing for me that they hook me up with, is a lot of exposure through all of their platforms. They have like a newsletter, they have all their social media outlets, and so forth.
Nice. Okay. That's super dope too, because I'm in that process now where, like, you know, we're sitting in one of my situations that, you know, I'm being sponsored by the Claire. Yeah, it's a concentrate company. They don't necessarily have a home base because it's I don't want to say third party, because they are their own party, but they don't have a storefront, if you will. So they actually have to, you know, put their products on other people's shelves.
They facilitate the product to the storefront.
Exactly. That's what he just said, to simplify it. But yeah, I totally understand that and get the whole, like, you know, trying to make sure that there's a proper amount of give and take.
Correct.
You know, on both sides.
Because you want both parties to be winning. I mean,
exactly.
that's how any good collaboration.
Happy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like when one's starting to feel like they're getting more than they're giving, or something like that, or giving more than they're getting, I guess would be the right way to say that. That's where they're starting to be an issue, because one is taking advantage of the other, essentially.
Yep. 100%, man. 100%. So you got to be very careful with getting sponsorships and you know,
right? Because like there's definitely like
how they work in
a book out there in the industry, right? So like every industry has this idea, and I feel like cannabis is probably starting to trend this direction now that they're starting to work more with influencers and they can actually promote like that. Free work is not like free exposure where you're not gaining anything on any front. Well, that's just working for free. At the end of the day.
And you don't want to be working for free.
And they will tell their friends that you will do that.
Yep.
And then their friends will tell their friends. And then you have this trickle-down effect. And essentially, everybody knows you work for free.
Yep.
And when you ask for money, they'll laugh at you.
Facts.
So you don't want to ever set up yourself for that, because that's not success.
Right. You don't want to be right. You don't want to be a free influencer.
And you'll probably learn that lesson once or twice as a new
100%.
creator, new influencer, because people will definitely dangle the carrot in front of your eyes, as people will say.
I was just gonna say that you always kind of have to decipher through the nonsense offers and the ones that are legitimate, because people always try to get what they can out of you before they pay you for what they need.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If they can get a free, you know, couple hours of your time, like, they're gonna take that free couple of hours of time before they're gonna pay you for it.
100%.
You know,
anytime somebody's like, hey, let me ask you a question, how likely would you recommend this product to your friends or family? Well, you can pay me for that recommendation.
Yep, my opinion is not free.
No. No.
I'm just saying.
Unless you're open to a debate, that's when you start giving your free opinions, because you're ready to debate at that point. But outside of that, like, make sure people are taking care of you and you're taking care of them for them compensating you for your time.
Yeah, for anybody out there trying to get involved with this, and I feel like this is probably the most relevant part of the whole influence thing that I'm talking about with the whole cannabis companies specifically, just because they've been for the last few years trying to figure out how to market themselves better using the platforms that they kind of can.
And they have a product that they know we like. So
right.
You have to understand the value of their product when it's their product, and not the value of their product when it's on a shelf at another, like, storefront, essentially.
No, 100%, because these are going to be the companies that are going to try to get the most out of you for the least. One, a lot of them can't afford to give you some crazy top dollar amount of money anyway to do the work. And two, a lot of them can't afford to give you some crazy amount of product to do the work. So you got to know that what you're getting from them is okay for what you're giving to them. You know what I'm saying? Because you will find yourself in a very interesting predicament where, like he said, you'll never get paid for influence work by any of the dispensaries or compensated the correct way if you start taking the wrong compensations from the jump. So just be very careful, especially moving around.
Because like if you ever have to ask yourself the question, why me? Well, they've already asked that before they asked you. I'll tell you that.
100%.
Yeah.
So any other sponsors that are cannabis related that you're dealing with?
Not
or
with
any
cannabis right now.
Any other sponsors?
Outside of that, I do have three sponsors now. Three. Wow. I just got another one.
You working grinding?
Yeah. Thank you. So
I saw
on
one
top
with a
of
toothbrush.
that's Quip. So Quip is actually awesome. They work with like Joe Rogan and a bunch of other like really big cats. They're in Target. Through me though, you actually can get like a $20 discount from what you would buy at like in store. And then you also get like it's a toothbrush subscription that every 3 months.
Crazy.
Yeah. I thought the same thing, right? I was like a little skeptical, and then I got this toothbrush, man, and it's the best toothbrush I've ever used in my life. Like, it's got a 30-second timer on it to remind you to like actually switch the spot in your mouth. It turns itself off after 2 minutes. And then actually one big thing is that they promote you to do softer brushing, because one common misconception is a lot of people brush their teeth really hard, and you start to break down the enamel on your teeth, and that's why you get your teeth cleaned more often than you need to. Things like that. And dentists provide this toothbrush more often than not at this point, since they started hooking up with dentists as well and trying to get involved with the dental plan game itself and just getting people on Quip.
I'm gonna need you to set something up there, buddy.
Yeah. No, definitely. I can definitely get you in contact, man. Quip is awesome, dude. It's actually so nice. Like, I've had a couple of like my viewers that have gotten them. They're like, yeah, my whole family uses it now. I'm like, sick, dude. Yeah.
You never thought you'd be slanging toothbrushes, huh?
No.
Such a crazy situation.
But you know, having a nice smile is another big part of being
confidence, man, and a creator.
Yeah,
sure.
It's being a big part of your creator life and just feeling good about yourself. And your mouth is one of the biggest places that you can have infection in. And one reason why that like really hit me and why I wanted to get into it is like that was one of the downfalls for my dad with his sickness, is that he had like really bad oral hygiene. So I was like, how can I promote better oral hygiene, not only in myself but everybody else that I care about?
That's cool.
Partner with a toothbrush.
That's cool.
And yeah, so I partnered with those guys, and basically like they are awesome.
So did they reach out to you?
So I actually got hooked up with a company called Indoors. And what Indoors does is it helps content creators from Twitch, YouTube, anywhere, get connected with endorsements.
Okay.
And so they reached out to me and they're like, hey, we see you're on an up and up. We'd like to help you start making more money, essentially. And so like I make commission based on that sponsorship, as well as another sponsor known as Sock Fancy.
Oh, with the socks. I see you with the socks.
Yep. And I love socks, as you know. Like, I love socks. Like, I wear shorts. I wear, like, Vans. That's my reason. Man. I like high socks. I like low socks. But it's a sock subscription. Father's Day is right around the corner. If you haven't gotten him anything, well,
get us some socks,
you can get him some socks through Socks Fancy.
Yes,
and
I love it, man.
You can find the link for that actually in my Instagram bio. Super easy to get there. I'll have to actually set you up with this link too, because you'll like this new bio link that I have. It basically takes you, it's called Streamer Links, right? But it's basically for every link you have. So I got my merch on there. I got Quip. I got Sock Fancy. I got Twitter, Instagram. So you can find all my stuff just through one click.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's super, super convenient. And that's another company that I partnered with that one of my friends started a little bit ago. And then I'm also with Techni Sport, which is a gaming chair company.
Yeah.
I sit for 10 hours a day. I mean, I stream for 10 to 12 hours a day. So if I'm going to be sitting there, I want to be comfortable.
I agree.
If I could have a damn lazy boy and still do what I do, I would. But I can't, because that would actually mess up my back. And I would probably take a nap. So those are two bad things right there. I'm not trying to nap on stream. Might get banned for that. Not sure.
Might get banned for that. Not sure.
Because I don't think content's being made when you're sleeping.
Yeah, at all. Well, I mean, kind of looks how you look at it.
I mean, I guess,
kind of guy. Some people might want to watch you sleep, bro.
Right. I mean, they could be trying to conduct a sleep study on me. They could be trying to wake me up if I had some loud alerts and stuff going on.
Trying to do all sorts of things.
Weird.
So how was it that the? Well, I guess you actually already answered that. I was going to ask you how'd you secure the cannabis one, but you answered that already.
Yeah.
Being a gamer. we'll skip past that one.
It's all right.
So what is your prediction on the outcome of gaming and cannabis coexisting? What do you think that relationship would look like in the
I think
future?
that one thing that, like, one of the common things I actually heard when I was a bud tender was people were like, what is the best weed you have for gaming? And I think that they already kind of coexist with each other, and their future looks really bright in the fact that cannabis is going to want to put on events. That's what they already do, and gaming loves to have a stage. So one thing that's already at these big gaming events is drinking, and I'd like to see that not be such a big thing. I'd like to see it more towards the cannabis industry due to the fact that we're not putting something in our body that might not be the best for us. And you're more in your mind, I feel, when you're on cannabis. But for me, personally, it helps me focus in on my gameplay more. I know a lot of people use things like Adderall, things like that, to focus themselves, energy drinks, and I use the sativa, usually in an extract form, due to the fact that it does give me that like really nice clarity of a high, but it also is a longer lasting one, so I'm not constantly trying to re-up that high and keep it going, which is why I feel like energy drinks, caffeine in general, is kind of a downside to where like gaming is at right now. So I'd like to see an alternative for these already used devices that people are using, instead of it being something that is kind of a taboo, because that's where it's at in the gaming industry still. It's very much still of a taboo, but it's coming. It's coming. I know that, like, at High Times in California last year, they had a Magic tournament where you had to smoke a joint or a blunt before each round and then play your matches. And, like, you know, sure, I guess you're impaired if that's how you want to look at it, but maybe that made some people better.
Yeah,
Not sure.
no, for sure.
Like, that's
And
a study that I'd like to see done.
For
And
sure.
I'd like to see, I do see like a really bright future where they will coexist in the same realm together, because people already love to smoke and play video games.
Yep, I agree. I know I always do. I feel like that's the best way to play video games.
Right? A little stony.
Yeah,
I mean, there are definitely
be.
games where I'm like, I'm playing, like, when I'm playing my strategy games, those are the one times where I kind of like, yeah, you know, I just need a slight buzz. And then as soon as I start playing like Fortnite or something like that, I'm like, I'm going to get lit.
Yep.
It's
I need
time.
to get as high as I possibly can be.
I need to be enjoying this, because I don't want to break my controller because some 14-year-old kid smacked me, you know?
Oh man, yeah, I can't get down with Fortnite, man. That one, it's too complicated for me.
There's
man.
a lot going on in that
There's
one,
a lot
bro.
going on. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming out. The last question that I do have for you, and really this is for all the people out there watching, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to somebody on how to incorporate cannabis into an active lifestyle? Because regardless of the fact of whether you play video games or not and sit for 10 hours, you're still very much, you know, moving the brain, moving the hands, and you're doing stuff.
I mean,
so
I get up,
it's
so
active.
even though that, like, so I don't like sit for 10 hours straight. I'll stretch, get up, you know, like,
no, for sure.
do some jumping
That's
jacks.
why.
Like,
that's why I wanted to clarify. Like,
So I'm not
doesn't
just
mean he's
sitting there all
lazy.
day.
You
Yeah,
know,
don't worry.
Let's not say he's lazy, because that to make money off of, you know, gaming and doing all that. There's a lot more into it than just playing the video games. People
Right,
don't
because
understand
I don't
that,
just play
so-
games all day. I create content.
Right. There's a difference. There's a difference.
And that's
people who
the
play video
difference.
games don't get paid from it.
Right.
So
That's where the hobby becomes a career, right?
Yep.
But for me, what I would say is I use it, so like me personally, I use it for depression. That's my way of like combating anything. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm feeling down, smoke a little bud, helps me get back on track. Helps me feel not like I'm taking myself away from the element or anything like that. It just takes the edge off a little bit, just enough so I can process it on a level where my emotions aren't overdoing my logic. And it makes me feel like I do get more in depth with myself when I am trying to be a logical thinker. I feel some people with any vice, you know, they use it to a point where it's no longer helping them be proactive. But as long as you're using, you know, your cannabis in a way that's allowing you to chase what you want to chase still, and it's not taken away from your day, I think you're living an active life right there.
Boom. There you go. There you go. Kept it sweet and simple right there. And yeah, man, I don't have anything else to really add to that, because I kind of agree. You know, I've been an active daily smoker my entire life. Well, not my entire life.
And you have a family.
Right. I was about to say since I was at least 11, 12, 13 when I started. But like once I got into being an adult, like I definitely at that point like understood that you could live a regular life just like everyone else, be productive, tax-paying citizen, and smoke weed every day. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
At all.
No.
So,
And,
yeah.
and multiple times in the day some days. you
Yep,
know?
sometimes you just need it.
Yeah,
Just
depends.
saying.
Just depends.
But I appreciate you, man. You guys go
Well, thanks for
follow my
having me.
boy ZBoyWonder on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. I'm pretty sure it's ZBoyWonder on all those
it's
things.
ZBoyWonder on everything. Same with Twitter.
Yep. See,
You'll find me
boom.
through ZBoyWonder on any of the platforms that you like to use for your social media digest. Get up in there. Come hang out.
Do that.
Let's play some games together sometime.
Indeed. Go follow me at My High Floating on all platforms. Yeah, pretty much if you put in My High Floating on anything, you'll pretty much see me pop up.
We'll get him on Twitch soon too, guys. Don't worry.
I've actually been on there. I get on there.
I know.
And actually, we need to talk. I got, when we get off camera, I got a whole nother situation we can talk about. I love you guys. I won't even make you sit down for that. Just stay tuned though. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode 5. We will be back with you next week. Like I said, be on the lookout for ZBoyWonder, kind of doing more with CannaPost Daily.
Excited for that too.
Yeah, I definitely think that he'll be a good fit to add another component and a whole nother kind of like aspect and perspective to this channel, this show, this whole situation. So yeah, man, I love you guys. There is no me without you. Always remember to live your life high, honest, intelligent, genuine, and humble. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you're real sexy. And ask you living that way. Peace.